Hey guys, ShowJack05 on the SilverJack05 channel. And today guys, today is the day where I review the last two figures / the last two souvenirs that I got while I was in Japan. And then after this, I'll have reviewed every single thing that I got in Japan, and I'll have finished all the unboxings that I need to do. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So the last two figures that we're taking a look at today are this S.H.MonsterArts SpaceGodzilla figure, and as well as this S.H.MonsterArts Destroya figure, as you can see right here. And so yeah, hang on, let me just set them on top of each other just real quick and scoot them back. Alright, so these are the two figures that we're taking a look at today. They're the last two that we need to review, and that'll be it for now. And of course, as I'm sure I said in my Japan shopping haul video, I am fully aware and I do know that these two figures were originally released years ago, back in 2012, but I'm still reviewing them anyway because I want to, and because they're part of the souvenirs that I got in Japan, so yeah. So anyways, in this video, we're going to look at the SpaceGodzilla figure, and we'll take a look at Destroya in the next video. So yeah. So let me just set my camera down and get this set up just real quick. This will take just a second. Okay. So here we are. So now to truly start out this video, this is the S.H.MonsterArts SpaceGodzilla from Bandai. So of course, let's take a quick look at the box. Got some cool window packaging that shows the figure in there. You can pretty much see the accessories in there too. Looks very nice. Got a sick and cool picture of SpaceGodzilla right here. There's the price I picked it up for, and that orange stuff right there is the name of the store that I got this at. Bandai. SpaceGodzilla right there, S.H.MonsterArts, description for the figure, everything. Looking very nice. There's the other side, got more window packaging, S.H.MonsterArts, SpaceGodzilla right there again, and like this silver metallic lettering. Looks very nice. Here's the back, shows some display options and everything. Here's a write-up that's written in Japanese, and I can't quite read all, sorry about that. I can't quite read all of that because I can't read a whole lot of kanji. But of course, there's SpaceGodzilla right there too. There's a poster for the movie and everything. Looking very nice. Here's the other side. We've got a cool product shot of the figure right here. S.H.MonsterArts SpaceGodzilla. And there's the name SpaceGodzilla written in katakana. And of course, there's a printout of SpaceGodzilla's body right there in the background. Looking very nice. Here's the top, more window packaging, SpaceGodzilla. It's got a symbol for it right there. And here's the bottom, S.H.MonsterArts, warning choking hazard. So let's get this thing open and then take a look at what's inside. Alright everyone, so here is SpaceGodzilla fully unboxed. This figure already looks very phenomenal. So let's have a closer look at it. So first up, starting with detail, starting with the head sculpt. If I can get my camera to focus. So as you can see, the eyes are very well painted. They look pretty much just like the way they do in the movie, which I really like. Of course, we got the crown thing on his head. Looks pretty cool. It's translucent plastic, which I really like. It's pretty cool. It's nicely sculpted. And of course, these teeth on the sides of his mouth, looking very nice. And of course, his other teeth, they look pretty clean. Of course, the inside of the mouth, looking very nice. Of course, the shoulder crystals, they look very nice. Nicely painted and nicely sculpted. Same with his stomach and his neck. It's like crimson and like blackish bluish, looking very nice. Really like the bluish blackish paint all over him. Looks pretty cool. Of course, the hands and the claws, nicely sculpted too. Same with like these like ball-like things at his knees. They look very nice. And the feet and the toenails, they're nicely done. Then of course the crystal spikes all along his back that go all the way down and up his tail. They look very nice. I like the shiny finish that they have to them. Looking pretty cool. And these spikes at the end of his tail, they're very well done. They look just like the way they do in the movie, which I really like. And yeah, the sculpting work and paint applications on this figure are very phenomenal. I think they are very well done. So now let's talk about articulation. So for articulation is pretty good. So as you saw when we were looking at detail, the mouth can open about that much. It can close just like that, as you can see, which I think is pretty nice. The head, this part of the head can move about that much alone, as you can see, like that. And of course you got this other part, which is the neck, which can move about that much, like that. The head can also turn about that much, but do be careful because of course this figure does have some sharp edges, especially at the head sculpt. But yeah, the head can move about that much, at least on my figure. And the neck can rotate about that much, as you can see. Of course, the upper half of the torso can move up and down about this much and can turn about this much. So like the upper half of the body is like not superposable, but that's not that big of a deal to me. The arms can go in and out like this. Okay, I was not expecting that, but let me see if I can get that back in. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, there we go. So yeah, the arms can bend like this much, about like that. But of course, as you just saw, and I think you might know what I'm about to say, be careful when trying to articulate the arms because of what you just saw happen. But yeah, the arms can rotate about this much, and the hands can do a 360 and are like also on ball joints. Ow. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of almost cut myself on this one of the sharp edges. From what it looks like, the fingers cannot move, but that's not that big of a deal to me. If anything, I pretty much prefer it that way. Then the legs can move about, let's see here. The legs can move about that much. Do be careful, of course. He can bend at the knees about this much. And do be careful because these parts of the knees that have like the ball-like areas, they are rather loose, but I think that's to help with articulation. So yeah, the knees bend about that much. And the feet can move about this much. About like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how much the feet move. And the tail can stretch out about this much down, and it can curl in about this much. It can also turn like that, like this, about like that. At least on my figure, this part of the tail is like rather loose, but yeah. But still, yeah. The tail has like pretty good articulation, at least to me it does. And yeah, it's really cool. Has really good articulation, at least to me it does. You can like really get some cool poses out of this figure for really good display options. And so yeah, anyways, moving on from the figure itself, it does come with a couple accessories. First one is his atomic breath right here. Looks very good. It's nicely sculpted and nicely painted. Looks just like the way it does in the movie, which I really like. Of course, we do also get a crystal set, which has parts of the ground with the crystals coming out, which I'm really glad they included, because then you could like really put up like a display option for this figure that like recreates a scene from the film. Looking very nice. The crystals are nicely sculpted and nicely painted. Same with like the ground part. Looking very nice. And of course it comes with a display stand that you can set in this hole right here. And on top of this part, you can put like, I believe, this part like on top of here. And yeah, let me show you. It'll probably be easier than trying to explain. So I believe it's this part that goes in this part right here. However, and I did watch a review on this figure, so this is how I know that this is not just with my figure. Even when you set this part in the hole right here, it's still going to be very loose no matter how hard you put it in. So just be aware of that. Okay, and then, let's see. I believe this part goes somewhere on here. But of course, since this is his atomic breath, he can put this in his mouth. Let me just move this aside just for now, and there goes that thing falling over. So of course, open his mouth like this, and let's see. I think you put it in like this. Let's see here. Yeah, this is harder than I thought, but let's see. I think I got it. Okay. So as I'm sure you could probably see, there's like no way to keep this thing in his mouth and keep it from falling out on its own. So that's why put it in his mouth like this. Then bring this over. Well, I got it to stay in there for now, but I'm quite sure that's not how this figure is meant to be displayed. But so yeah. Of course, you can bend this part of the display stand, as you can see. So bring this over, set his part of his atomic breath up on there, and voila. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. I think there's actually a specific way that I'm supposed to have this set up, if you know what I mean, but I can figure that out after the review. But yeah, this is how cool it looks when you got all the accessories in the figure together. It'll look really cool on your display shelf. And so, yeah. And this looks similar to like how I'm planning on displaying this figure. And yeah. So anyways, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have another SpaceGodzilla figure that I could compare this figure to, but unfortunately right now I don't know where it is, so yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. Sorry, guys. But I still hope you enjoyed this review. This is a good figure overall. Maybe an older figure, but I still highly recommend it. I'm still glad I found it. And yeah. So anyways, you guys let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in a bit with the Destroya figure.